Good morning. Welcome back to Curvy Girl Keto. I'm live, but I didn't give any warnings, so I assume I'm going to have a lot of replayers. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then welcome back to my channel. So, as the title suggests, I don't want you to get caught up in everybody else's keto. There's a lot of BS out there. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people who've been very successful, but they're talking to you from a perspective of being down the road, right? They've been on keto 6 months or a year or 2 years or 5 years, and that's very different from when you're starting out, okay? So in the beginning, you're just going to focus really on switching your body from burning sugar to burning fat, burning your own fat. And the simple things that you need to know about that is that you're not eating any sugar, you're not eating any carbs, obviously. Your protein is a goal, okay? So the average woman at our goal BMI, and I don't even believe in BMI, but at our goal sort of weight and body composition, needs 80 to 100 grams of protein a day, okay? So that's the goal, and you want to try and hit that because your protein affects things like your hair, your nails, your muscle. You certainly, when you're losing weight, you don't want to lose any of your muscle. So your protein is a goal, okay? And that's going to take up a chunk of your calories and make you feel full is your protein, okay? So, so when you're starting out, it's a good idea to choose fattier meats because the fat is what's going to fill you up. So if you're choosing, steaks and hamburger meat and chicken thighs, things like that, they have a fattier composition. It's going to keep you fuller. You'll hear people tell you down the road when they're, at their goal or long into keto, they're choosing leaner meats because they've had to reduce their calories now because they've lost 50 or 100 pounds off their body. So their calories have to come down. But in the beginning, you're concentrating on keeping your body full so that it doesn't feel hungry. And you're teaching it to burn its own fat for storage, okay? For your fat stores. So you eat your protein. Your protein is a goal. Then you're going to eat your veggies with it, right? So your green veggies, things that grow above ground, your broccoli, your Brussels sprouts, your green beans, your lettuce, your spinach, your kale, whatever you like, asparagus, all that stuff. So like that's the main portion of your meal. You're cooking that meat and those veggies. You can put butter on them or coconut oil or cook them in olive oil. That's the stuff that's going to satiate you. That's going to keep you full between your meals, okay? And again, you're going to read as you move through keto, you are going to require less dietary fat because your body's used to burning fat and it's eating the fat that you have stored. And therefore, you feel full all the time. And that's why you'll hear people say, I'm not even hungry anymore. And that's why, because your body has learned to burn fat and it's burning it off of your body. So it feels full all the time. Okay. So that's why your protein is important to keep up on your protein. So yes, your keto is going to change as you move forward, as you move through your journey. But here in the beginning, starting out, you're just 100% educating your body to burn fat instead of carbs. Yes, calories matter to an extent. So if you're within your first, I would say, few weeks, I didn't track calories, and I don't even recommend that you track calories in your first few weeks. You're just going to eat the right foods in whatever amount it takes you to get full. And by the end of that 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you'll feel it because you'll stop being hungry and you'll stop craving carbs. Then you might want to start watching your calories a bit because no matter what type of diet you're eating, calories do matter. Like if you eat 3,000 calories a day of keto foods, you won't lose weight, because your body doesn't need to eat its own fat. It's eating the fat you're eating and the food that you're eating. Okay, does that make sense? So really, you got to put your blinders on until you find your own way, because I fell into that trap where I did so much reading that I'm like, oh, I should be drinking bulletproof coffee. Oh, wait, I shouldn't be drinking bulletproof coffee. Oh, I should be adding, fat is a goal. I should be aiming to get 20 grams or 100 grams of fat a day in. I have to aim for that. Oh, wait, no, I don't. And it really gets confusing. So you kind of got to put your blinders on. Know that protein is a goal. Carbs are a limit. So your 20 to 30 grams of total carbs a day. Start with 30, I would say. Total, not net. That's a limit. Cannot go above that. And your fat is a lever. So what that means is that you eat the fat to keep you full. Okay? You don't, if you're full after eating 50 grams of fat and you have 100 that you could eat, don't like force that in. I see people say that, like, I need to get my fat in. What can I eat to get my fat in? No, you got lots of it. That's why we're on this diet. You got lots of fat to burn. So fat is a lever. You use it when you need it. You need to use it to fill yourself up. So if I'm hungry at night, I'll have some cheese or some cut up salami or something like that, because it's got a high fat content, right? And it's got very, very low carb content. Nuts are another thing. Nuts are keto friendly, but they're high in carbs. So like a quarter cup of walnuts has 4 carbs in it. Okay. So do I eat a quarter cup? Absolutely. Because they're high in fat, they're high in protein, they're high in fiber. But you have to watch your portions. Eating right out of the bag is going to mess you up every time. Pecans are really good. Pecans, walnuts, almonds are getting carbier. Peanuts are not really even nuts. They're legumes and they're really carby, and they create an inflammatory response. So if you find you're eating peanuts and you're not losing, I would cut those out and try a different nut. And those are the things, at the beginning that you kind of need to know. So I showed you the protein shake that I like. There's only 1 carb in it, and I find it's a filler. So if I still feel hungry and I feel tempted or I'm going to snack, I'll have one of those. Then I feel full, because I've been a food addict all my life. I don't know, some of you can probably relate, but I like that full. I'm used to that full feeling, right? Where your stomach is full and kind of stretched. And so as a food addict, that's what you're used to and that's what you're going after. So sometimes when you've eaten what you should eat, even though you're actually satiated, your food addict brain says, no, we're still hungry because I don't feel that stomach stretch, that physical stretch. And so your brain's telling you want to eat more. So that's when I use like a protein shake to actually fill the physical void, which turns off my brain to stop eating. Cashews, I don't like cashews, so I didn't actually look at the carb count. But if you look at like MyFitnessPal, or you can even Google the carb count of cashews, I'm really not sure, because I don't care for cashews, like I never have. Bulletproof coffee is a fat coffee. It's a meal replacement. Don't drink it with your meal. It's a meal replacement, and basically it's like coffee, and people put in either coconut oil or MCT oil or heavy whipping cream or butter, which I know sounds crazy, but it's actually delicious. And it's got a high fat content with the coffee, and it actually fills me. Like, I'll have a bulletproof coffee at breakfast time, and that fills me till like 2 p.m. Now that I'm adapted. So the mistake I made with bulletproof coffee the first time around was that I was drinking it thinking I have to get my fats in. I have to hit that fat goal. And that's not true. You don't have to. So I was overeating fat, and I was eating so much dietary fat that I wasn't burning my own fat. So the goal of fat is to make you feel full, because fat satiates your body in small amounts, right? So it's very calorically dense. So it fills up your requirement. You feel full, but it doesn't actually fill your belly physically. So those are 2 different things. And that's where you're actually satiated, but your brain's telling you got room to eat more. And if you have an addictive personality like I do towards food, I always have, those are 2 different things. So you kind of got to work your way through that, which is why I watch my calories, because sometimes I'm not able to differ between head hungry, boredom hungry, and physically hungry. So I really have to think about, is my belly empty? Is it growling? How long has it been since I've eaten? Sometimes I can't tell, which is why I have a weight problem. So I have to track it, and I have to stay under my calorie limit. So right now my goal is to stay under 1,800 calories a day. That's what I've been doing. And I try to sort of portion those out between 2 meals is what I like to eat. So I eat like a midday meal and then a big supper, but I'll have my bulletproof coffee in the morning, which is like 240 calories, which is why I like it, because it satiates me for the bulk of the day. And MCT oil or coconut oil, if you use those, are really good for your brain. Really helps your brain, you know, stay focused and clear, because your brain actually runs better off of fat than off of sugar, like way better. And also those oils help your body produce ketones better, which is how you lose weight. So I like those things, but just don't get confused, okay? Because all of those things matter. Your protein is a goal, your carbs are a limit, your fat is a lever, meaning you use it when you're hungry, you don't use it when you're not. It is not a goal, you don't have to hit it. You've got plenty of fat on your body. So if on this diet, you'll read that 70% of your calories, or the calories your body burns, come from fat. It doesn't matter if it's dietary fat or fat off your body. So if you eat too much dietary fat, your body's going to be like, yum, 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 we're happy, but it has no need to reach into your fat stores and burn them. Okay, so those are the difference. Those are the two difference. Yes, so MCT oil, that stands for medium chain triglyceride. And I bought mine online, but it actually is called MCT oil, and it comes in a big jug. It's a derivative of coconut oil. It's sort of refined a little bit more, but coconut oil itself is a medium chain triglyceride oil, and it's good for your brain. So I do like it very much. So that's really all I have to tell you today. Just a reminder to keep yourself focused, that you don't have to fit in fats. You don't have to add things. The only goal you really have every day is your protein goal. And that's mostly for your hair, your skin, your nails, your muscle. Okay. You don't want to skimp on your protein. You're better to go over a little bit in protein than under. But the other two things, the carbs and the fat, are like, of course you need like some veggies so that you poop. So that's why, and your carbs come from those veggies, right? So you're eating your meat and your veggies, and the fat to satiety until you're full, till you feel that full feeling. So if you guys have questions, I want you to ask the questions like in the comments, or even start a questions thread in the group in Curvy Girl Keto, and I'll do a whole video answering your questions, because I know how confusing it is in the beginning. I know how much information overload I had. It took me a long time to pare down what was good information from what was bad information, and what was information I can use now in the beginning of my journey instead of a year into my journey, because those are different kinds of advice, right? So ask all the questions. I'll do some videos and answer them so that everybody can get on the same page and get on board. Okay? I love you guys. We're all doing this together. So let's make the best of it. Bye. Oh, one more question. How do you know if you're eating too much protein? Someone said eating too much meat is bad. Well, yeah. So I said, I don't know if you caught the beginning. So a woman's goal generally is between 80 and 100 grams of protein, not of meat. Okay. Your grams of meat and your grams of protein are different. So you might have 200 grams of a steak, but only 50 grams of that are protein. So you have to watch or know that, which is why an app is important. So I like MyFitnessPal. Some people like Carb Manager. Some people like the Lose It app. So you have to, I just kind of keep a loose, running total of my protein. But you get used to it real quick. Like you get used to, once you log a few meals and you're like, okay, so, a steak this big for dinner and a plate of deli meats and cheeses for lunch, like gets me to my protein goal, or, 3 eggs and a hamburger patty or whatever. You kind of get to know what works for you.
Do you want me to tell Bear to start getting ready?
Yeah, start getting ready. I'll be right there.
It's 8:50. It's 8:44.
Okay. So you kind of get used to it, but tracking is important. You really can't go you'll read, if you really get into reading, you'll read about glucogenesis, which is people overeating protein and their body's turning it into sugar and that kind of, but you gotta way overeat protein. It's nothing a normal person would eat. You know, so keep an eye on it. So they say 80 to 100 grams for the average woman of protein, not of meat. And then if you're super duper active or you work out or athletic, you add another 20 grams. Or if you're super duper tall, like 5'11", 6 feet, then you add another 20 grams. So, I mean, if you want to get technical, those are the numbers. But if you stay in and around 100 grams of protein a day, you'll be just fine. Okay, so that's, and you don't have to track it forever. You just have to get a handle on what that means. And I got confused there too, thinking that, 50 grams of steak was 50 grams of protein, but it's not. There's protein in the steak, but the whole steak isn't protein. Okay, so that's why your tracker apps are really good for that. So ask your questions. I'll do more videos and we'll answer them. And we're all just going to be the healthiest versions of ourselves. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.